Hello, hi there, Pisceans. I do hope that you are well, and welcome to my channel. My name is Bella, and most people know me as Bella the Secret Psychic, and this is your love horoscope for November 2018. So, most of you who are watching for the first time, do like, do subscribe, do comment. I do love to hear from all of you. And how I work as a psychic, so I don't use cards. I do channel information to give you a general overview so that you can navigate through this month as well as you can. Now, yours is a really interesting one because it's definitely talking about another person in your life. So this is the other person, somebody new, somebody you've been with for a long time, somebody that you have in your mind. Hopefully this video will explain a lot about what's going on for them at a cognitive level so that you can kind of either understand it or navigate through the month the best way that you can. All right. I think this will particularly apply, but it's not over the, for everybody, but it will generally apply for people that are new or people that perhaps are exes or you're wondering. It will apply to you if you're in a three-way situation also too, but it could also apply if you're in a long-term relationship. So just see how it hangs out for you. So my guides are saying here, I think this is the best way for me to explain this person's disposition. All right, my guides have been telling me little morals and little stories actually when I've been doing most of my readings. So they're saying here there is a story about two pots. So there's a story about two pots, and one of them is like a ceramic, clay pot, and one of them is a brass pot, and they've both been thrown into a river. And as they're in the river, the clay pot is really panicking because it doesn't want to get damaged, because it knows that if it bangs into something, it's going to break. And so the brass pot says, no, come here to me, I'll hold you and I'll keep you safe. And so the clay pot turns around to the brass pot and says, no, you stay away from me, because if I bang up against you or you bang up against me because you think you're helping me, I'm the one that's going to break. And what the moral is behind that story is about choosing your romantic or your associates wisely, basically, because what I want to say to you, because this is not you, this is the paranoia that the other person that you have in mind as to why you're watching this video, this is their thoughts at this moment in time. They think that somehow in this month of November, that if they get too close to you, you're going to make them break and then they drown. And they want to avoid that at all costs. They want to avoid it, basically. So my guides are pretty much saying in this reading that you are, this is out of sync, isn't it? I just noticed, sorry, it looks like I'm back in sync a little bit, but I'll just continue just in case, because I'm recording this, but I can see myself. And for a second then, I looked like I was out of sync and I was going to start to record it again, but we'll carry on because I like to do these in one take, so I do digest in that. So what's been indicated basically is this other person, like the whole of your month when I looked at this was just full of like water, and water is a symbol obviously associated with you guys, but it's about having an emotional time, an emotional month basically, particularly because it was throughout. And it feels to me that you are having to deal with this fact that somebody seems to be hesitant, guarded, not wanting to move things forward, not getting close to you, because they think for some reason that you're going to break them. Okay? And so they're protecting themselves highly. They're keeping their cards close to their chest. They may be insubordinate. They may be rude. They may be quiet. They may just be very insular and introverted. It will come out in different ways depending on who you're seeing and what star sign. And it might be a good idea to go and jump on that star sign to see perhaps more to it, if that makes sense. But what my guides are saying here is they kind of want to say here, it is not what you're doing. They are massively projecting. They're projecting their fears, and it could be, particularly if they're new, that they're just worried. If it's an ex, it could be because they're actually, instead of taking responsibility for their part in things, that they're just projecting it out, or they've been terribly, terribly hurt, and something you've said has triggered that. It could also be that you've been in a long-term relationship where perhaps you've had trouble in the past. Something has been said and done, and then they've got their guard back up. They feel like you're going to crack them. And this person is so terrified of getting hurt, it feels like death to them. And they would rather retreat and avoid and to be closed off, just so that they feel like they're in control, than do anything about it or give you more or move things forward in the way that you would hope that they would. And the thing is, why I tell you this, because you'll be bamboozled probably. You'll try harder to almost prove to them, no, I'm not going to drown you. I'm not going to break you. But that feels like suffocation to them. So what this reading is about is standing back, being indifferent to this, because I think at a cognitive level, and I think I've said this to people before, is sometimes when we feed that negative behaviour, we can enable it, basically. First of all, it doesn't do anything for your own self-worth and the way you feel about yourself. So indifference and knowing that it's actually not personal, this is their thing that they're trying to project onto you, helps them to recover from this. So this pretty much starts from the first week. The first week, all I see is them pulling back, them being guarded, keeping their cards close to the chest. I get some of you not listening to my advice about pushing it, and some of you trying to push it because you're worried because you can see something's wrong. Don't do that. It's be a waste of your energy and it will just make you upset. The second week, they're slightly worse, I have to say. That's a real big reason to pull yourself back, because, you know, do you really want that? No. So in the second week, they seem a little bit like trying to prove their point. For me, that's somebody who's pressing buttons, will do things that will deliberately make you go, or get upset, and for them to go, see, I told you. That's the reason why I have to protect myself from you. They're just not very good. Just being different, stand back from it. Don't take the bait, is what my guides are saying here, because it isn't what is anguishing them belongs to them and doesn't belong to you. Doesn't serve you in your energy to be sucked down to their low vibration right now. They are the ones actually sinking and drowning. Just like the brass pot, you offered help and they're too afraid because they think you're going to break them. So let them dangle around in that water until they decide that they're going to ask for help or realise that they're not that fragile. You know, because if that was true, that pot would have smashed on impact in the water and it didn't, did it? Okay? So they need to realise that. I do get that a lot of this is connected to third-party influence. So this can be an ex. This can be that they're actually still with somebody else. That might be part of the problem. But it's definitely coming up as ex-related. This can also be family also too, in terms of family's pressure. So you might be in a relationship with somebody where actually it's frowned upon in terms of the dynamics of you being with them. And that's partly also another reason why they are just protecting themselves right now. I do know for some of you, you may feel like you want to walk away because it feels unfair. And because they're in the second week, in particular with them testing you, it just feels not really good. You have to be the bigger person if you want this connection with this person, which is to be indifferent, not take the bait, and just know deep down and have faith that they will ride it through. And yes, of course, if it's getting too much, of course you should turn your back, but don't be worried that you turning your back means you've lost them. One would argue doing that also creates some reality check with them about what real pain is. Do you see what I mean? As we get to the fourth week, I don't know how to explain this, because I have to be honest with you. In November, it just feels like it plays out the entire time. You know, it's something that needs a wave that needs to be ridden, but it shouldn't be that you get dragged along for the ride. Because I just get here in the last week, they have some mental choices to make. And that mental choice is, do I continue to be like this, self-sabotaging, closed book, because I want to protect myself? But really, the reality is, what am I protecting myself from? What has that person actually done? Nothing. Am I hurting myself by being this way, as I can see that I'm hurting them? It almost becomes like noise in their head that they just find it's like intrusive thoughts, basically, intrusive thoughts that actually they need to work out. And it's in that last week that it feels like they really, really do. And I think that's why it's important that my guide's saying step back. Don't be part of that process. Don't be what they put it on. They have to get to a place where they slightly torment themselves so much that actually all they can do is realise that it is them. Because once they get to that place, then you can move forward. Then you can move forward. Now, for those of you who have an absence person, they may be doing this whole process and you may not be impacted in quite that same way because you are already removed, but they need to go through that process. And no Facebook messaging from you, no words of support even, just step away, be indifferent. Because at the end of the day, they'll see your worth, which is ultimately what this message is about. So it's a bit of a difficult one, this one, in November, Pisceans, but just know very clearly that it's not intended to be personal, that doing less from you is more, and that they have to figure this out for themselves, that they are not as fragile, that they can cope, and that, quite frankly, if they don't sort it out, it is them that will drown and not you. All right? And then when they're ready, they'll take your brass hand and you'll both swim to the riverbank where you can walk on dry land. So anyway, I really hope that that's been helpful. Sorry for the slight interruption, but there's nothing worse than a video that's out of sync, but it seems to have righted itself. So I do hope that's been helpful, and I will see you all again next month in December, end of the year, and see you then. Take care, everybody. Bye.